Hi BookTube! I'm here with my December wrap-up and one of my last videos for the year. I'm doing this a little early because I honestly want to leave everything to do with 2020 in 2020 and come into 2021 with a fresh start. So I want to leave my December wrap-up in 2020 instead of doing it in January. That's my reasoning behind this. I only have a few pages left in the books that I have to read, and I know I'm going to get them done. I have it scheduled in. And if they bleed over to January 1st, I hope they don't. I'll stay up. I don't consider the nighttime past midnight the next day. I can still consider it that day. A bit of a cheat, but oh well. So let's just get into what I read this month. I'll start with the audiobook. That is Hitting a Straight Lick with a Crooked Stick by Zora Neale Hurston. And these are a series of, a collection of short stories that were collected posthumously and published. Some of them were published during her lifetime, and the majority of them center around relationships between men and women, and marriage in particular. I thought they were very good. I did get tired of hearing similar themes and topics and plot lines and everything kind of reiterated, but I don't think that's the fault of Zora Neale Hurston. If these stories were maybe separated and told in different story collections, that would be fine. I think the problem is that the editors kind of grouped all these similar stories kind of together instead of, ignoring the fact that there would be a lot of similarities between some of them. So that's not the fault of Zora Neale Hurston. The writing is beautiful. The stories are outstanding. I could recommend any and all of them. Okay, then I'm just going to pick up the books randomly in front of me in whatever order they are. Moving Pictures by Terry Pratchett. This is a Discworld novel. It's one of the standalones, so you can just read it whenever you feel like it. And it's basically Hollywood comes to Discworld. There's a gap between realities and part of, I'm assuming it's part of our world, and Hollywood are sweeping through into the Discworld into a place called Holywood, and that becomes the center of this movie making mania, and people get super obsessed with being famous and making movies and the commercialization of it as well. It is so fun. There's a lot of references to classic movies and stuff like that. I just don't know what else to say about it. It's a Discworld novel. You're getting what you're expecting with Terry Pratchett, and that's always a good thing, I find. On a completely different note, we have Gathering of Waters by Bernice L. McFadden, and I already talked about this in my favorite reads of 2020, and I don't think it would have made the list 100%, just because the ending was a little rushed, but the rest of the book, like, it was only like the last like 20 pages were really rushed, and I felt like maybe she was on a time crunch or something, but otherwise, my god, this story, this writing is beautiful. It is beautiful. She is able to, like, in just one chapter, and her chapters are very short, in like 5 pages, create this whole character and, give you the whole sense and this atmosphere about this character and what they're like, and it all builds up. Like, you start off, you think how's this related to the story that you're telling me I'm getting? I should probably tell you what this is about. This is about black families in Money, Mississippi. And it says in here that it's about Tass Hilson and Emmett Till, who was a real life person who, 14 years old, murdered in 1955 because he was accused of whistling at a white woman, and his the people who beat him and tortured him to death were let free because all white jury, segregation, white men, just racism in America, that kind of stuff. But it's not. That part takes such a little section of this, like it's probably like this part, if that. That's exactly like to Tass. Emmett was everywhere and present in all things. He was all over her mind, pressed into the seams between the floorboards, glowing amidst the stars, and there in the sweet swirl of sugar, milk, and butter in her morning bowl of farina. It's like the writing is just so beautiful. And that we get characterizations of everyone, and the build up from the beginning where you think it's like, where's this going? It works its way into the story so well. I can't stop singing the praises of this book. Then I read This Place, 150 Years Retold, and this is a comic collection telling the history of Native people since Canada became a country. I'm just letting the cat out. Come on, switch. Sorry, I'm not editing this because I'm on a bit of a time crunch. I just let the cat out. So anyways, and they're, this says it was like science fiction and stuff like that, but the last story is science fiction because it's about the future, but the rest are like true stories. And I gotta show you this one. This one called Rosie. Oh my god, like just look at that. Just look at that art. This story was amazing. And it goes all over Canada. So we start with the Red River Rising. And where else do we go? Let's just see. I gotta tell you more about this. So Red River Rising, Tilted Ground. Look at the colors. And then it gives you a history before each of them. Is this... Oh no, this is when the Quebec Provincial Police kept raiding Indigenous reservations and stopping them from fishing, which was their right to do that. It talks about the Oka crisis as well. I guess that took place after that, which was so cool as well. Yeah, I can't stop singing the praises of this, and it goes right up until 2015. And talking about the Idle No More movement and the Dakota Access Pipeline, and this just provides a great history, and I would highly recommend that if you're teaching Canadian history that you use this as a resource. It is really good. Okay. Then we have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I didn't read the whole thing, I just read the first book. This is 4 books in one. And then there's a 5th book as well. But I have read them all at once a long time ago. And so this was a reread. And Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is about the Earth gets destroyed to make way for a super space highway. And one human gets rescued by his alien friends. And they hitchhike across the galaxy. Yeah. And then they find out that humans were part of this big computer program to find out the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. And it's just so entertaining. My one problem was that I think because Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has become such a cultural icon that even people who haven't read it like know references to it. Like they know like 42, and there's certain phrases that, you know, are said over and over again, and reading them, you know, it's kind of just like, I know this is the origin of them, but it kind of feels tired almost, you know, because I know I've heard these things so many times, you know, they're said everywhere, you know, if you're into geek or nerd culture at all, like this is referenced all the time. So I had to like remind myself, I'm like, these are the origins, you know, it doesn't matter that, you know, they feel cliche now because this is where it all started. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Sorry, I gotta close the door again. And then this one I think I have like 30 pages left. But I needed to actually show you this. So I grabbed my physical books. I don't know if you can see all the tags in there. That is just like, I went through and I used a whole thing of sticky tabs in here, and so I had to grab a new one I had to throw in there to have more sticks. This is so educational. It is amazing. A History of God, the 4,000-Year Quest of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam by Karen Armstrong. So this is exactly what it says. It starts with when the Jewish people kind of became Jewish. They kind of became monotheistic. And I say kind of because there's still like pagan stuff going on and all that other stuff, right? But when they first thought of this idea of the one God. And then the evolution of our thoughts about God, our relationship to God, how we believe in God, and it follows, as it says, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. I'm just finishing up the section on the Enlightenment, and then it's the death of God, which I guess is going to talk about like Nietzsche and stuff like that, and does God have a future? And I could talk about this so much, but I'm gonna have to do a separate video on this. I'm just gonna read like the last thing, or maybe not. This you need context for this to make sense. So I'm not gonna read that actually. Sorry, but it's now talking at this point about the beginning of atheism, about how the concern with reason and using reason to prove the existence of God opened the door for people to prove that God wasn't real. Because before that, like, it was just taken for granted. Like, why would you not think God's real? Like, that was, you know, something that was agreed upon. Like, the term atheism was like, you don't believe the same thing as I do, so you're atheist. But then the term, you know, atheist meaning not to believe in God, really happened during the Enlightenment. So that sounds like it's really, I can't express how cool it is to learn all of this. And it makes you think about your own faith as well, if you do have a faith, about how you think about God and whether, like, you know, how you're going to approach it. It's just mind-blowing. And I have 20 pages left, but I will be done, Brothers Karamazov, before, this video is going up tomorrow, and there's another day, so it will be finished before 2021. I am determined to absolutely get this done. Look at how, thick it is, how bowed out it is from all my notes and everything in it. I'm just so, relieved, I guess would be the word, to have this finished. Brothers Karamazov is about 3 brothers and their father gets murdered, and it's kind of a murder mystery, and that's the very basic plot. Well, it's not really a mystery because you kind of know, but then you follow like the trial and stuff like that, so it's still a crime novel, but you're getting ideas about religion and life and Russian history and what it means to be Russian. And it seems like a lot, but it's so readable. The only reason it took me so long and it's taken me so long is because I'm reading it with a purpose in mind. I'm annotating like crazy. Like, I have notes on like every other page. Like, this page has like 2 notes on it, and this page, you know, like, so it's not just, you know, I'm not just sitting there and reading it for enjoyment. Don't let the fact that this took me so long to reread scare you. It is highly worth it. If you love watching crime documentaries, I highly suggest you read The Brothers Karamazov. I think you'd really enjoy it. It's like a really in-depth look at a crime, before, during, and after. It's so fascinating. So that's it. That's what I read in December. That's the end of 2020. My video for tomorrow, I don't even know what I'm gonna do yet. I might just sit down and like chat about how the year went and how 2021, that's gonna get weird to say. I hope it goes. And yeah, I'm not editing this because it's the 29th and it's like 8:30 at night, and thank you for watching. What was the best book you read in December? And thank you for watching.